Welcome back to the Common Sense podcast, episode 4. And today we'll be talking about some of the Sens' top needs. We have a couple. We each have a couple examples for each of the needs. We have scoring forward, bomb six forward, either left or right shot Ds. We actually have a big debate on that coming up, and a little bit of goalie. And we'll end the episode with a little bit of talk about the latest games from the Charge and Ottawa Titans. First, we'll just welcome Max in. How you doing, Max? How you been lately?
Yeah, I've been good. It's been a pretty relaxed week, taking in some good playoff games all around the NHL. Maybe we can touch on a little bit at the end, but yeah, no, it's been good. Good sports week. Jays are starting to play a little bit better, which is good. So, yeah, no, it's good.
I mean, Jay's playing a little bit better after they just got swept this week, but you know what? It's all good. We'll let it slide. But we're here to talk Sens, so we'll get right into that, starting with probably the need that people talk about the most, and that's scoring forward. Now, I mean, again, as a lot of people say, it's easy to go out and or I guess not go out, but it's easy to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's hard to go out and achieve that goal of getting a score in forwards. Like, what do you think the Sens should do, and do you think it should be their number one goal? Like, what do you think about the Sens needing a score in forward?
Yeah, I think I mean, Steve Staois said it in his exit interview. Yeah, he would love to have a scoring forward. 32 teams in the NHL would love to have a scoring forward. So I think we talked about it a little bit last week, right? It's like trying to find guys that maybe have some upside that haven't scored, 25 plus goals in the past, but that you think that within your system, with the right players, could achieve that. So I think they thought that about Zetterlund. I think they thought he had that kind of upside where he could score with the top players, but it hasn't really worked out. So you're like kind of looking for someone like that again, like in a smaller market like we have in Ottawa. You can't go out and pay like these guys 10 million, 12 million dollars in the offseason in free agency. So you kind of got to look in the bargain bin and try to find someone that has upside.
Yeah, exactly. I have a pretty interesting name just because exactly what you meant upside. Now, I think it would make a little bit more sense if we just kind of go like say the guys' names per category. So we're already talking about scoring forward, so I guess we can already kind of name some guys off before that. But before that, I'll just say my part. And I think I agree with you. It is tough to go out there and get the guy, especially a lot of people are talking about a winger for Stützle, and Stützle is your number one center. So you're talking about a top one or two winger on your team, and that's even harder to get than just a top six winger. So I think a lot of my examples aren't guys to play with Timmy. I actually really like the concept of getting a guy to replace Brady on the second line, and then Brady goes and plays with Timmy on the first line. Because I think Travis Green really liked that in the playoffs this year. The only thing is when you move Brady up to the top line with Timmy and Batherson, then your second line is Ridley Gregg, who isn't exactly a play driver. You have Dylan Cousins, who's getting better, and then you have like Claude Giroux. So it just wouldn't work out too much. So I'll get into a couple of my guys. I'm going to start off with one guy that I love a lot, and it's the exact definition of you get a guy with a lot of upside. And I think this is a team that wants to get younger, but I've heard this guy's name out there a little bit, and he has a couple 20-goal seasons. I think this year was a little bit lower, but Cole Perfetti. He had right around 20 goals the past two seasons, except for the past two seasons, but 25 and 24. Um, and this year I think he had like I don't know, right around 10 or 14. So it was a down year for him. I think he's the exact type of guy that can switch teams, maybe in a different system, and I think he would actually play with Timmy. I think he would fit really good on Timmy's left side because he would have the speed with Timmy. And I think he would work out perfectly because he has that upside. He has the shot. At his junior stats, he scored close to 40 goals both years. So he's a goal scorer. The Jets drafted him to be a goal scorer, and he hasn't lived up to that yet. But I mean, he's obviously still young. And I just think he would fit the Sens really well.
Yeah, I didn't have that down. I like that as like a dream. I can't see the Jets parting ways with that unless you see it a little bit differently. But I think the only like Jets aren't really in a rebuild, right? Like they're kind of in a weird spot where they're still like trying to compete. Like they have good players like Kyle Connery and Hellebuck. Like those guys aren't going to stick around for a rebuild. So I don't think they're going to trade one of their best young players unless you're giving them another young player back, similar to what we saw in like the Cousins Norris deal last year.
Definitely. The only thing, like, I feel like the Jets are in just such a weird spot. Like, I honestly think they should rebuild. Like, if you look at the team this year, they averaged they had they're the oldest team in the league this year, and I
Yeah.
mean, to be a top contender, and you see it this year in the playoffs. I think this year was the first year ever where three of the four youngest teams, something like that, won in the first round. It was the Ducks, Sabres, and Habs. It's a stat along those lines. So the game's getting younger as we can see, and the Jets are getting older. So I honestly think we can even see a world where they trade Connor Hellebuck, but you're going to rebuild, you probably want to keep a young guy like Cole Perfetti. I've just heard his name out there a little bit. Nothing from proven source or anything, but I've just seen his name floating out, so I wanted to get it
Oh
out there.
yeah.
I feel like it'd be a pretty cool ad. But yeah, anyone you have on the top of your mind for a scoring forward?
So I looked at like two different categories. So I broke it down by free agents and then trade targets, right? I think there's too much.
Yeah,
I don't think the Sens will dabble too much in the free agent market.
yeah,
Guys
me either.
often get overpaid and not. It's not the greatest place to go shopping. But I did have the obvious one. Like anyone could say that is Mantha, like coming off 33 goals, 31 assists
Yeah,
in his age 31 season. Like he shoots left, so kind of fits a little bit. He's big body. I didn't think he had a great playoff series against Philly, to be honest. But if you're looking for goals, he did score 33 goals, right? So there's that. The other one that I've seen a lot of Sens fans talk about is Bobby McMahon.
I
He's
think he'd fit nice
29.
to Timmy.
Yeah, 29 left shot. He's one of the fastest, if not the fastest, recorded speed in the NHL this year. So it kind of fits our system with like the forechecking style and stuff like that. Can get on the forecheck and he can be a little bit physical too, which is good. He had 29 goals this year. So like those two guys are probably looking at like a 6 million or more contract per year, right? Like in free agency.
Yeah, McMahon would probably just want a longer deal compared to Mantha would
Yeah.
probably be a shorter deal. Yeah, I think I agree with you. I don't think they'd go in the free agent market, especially for this. But if they would, I think those would be two of the top names they'd probably be looking at.
My last one was Mason Marchment from Columbus. He's just like I love him as a player. He's just like he's very well rounded. He scored 19 goals this year, so like pretty good on a Columbus team that didn't score a lot of goals, right? Um, he's 30 years old. Again, like if you can get him on like a short-term deal that maybe like a little bit higher AAV, then I would maybe look at that. But he's like he could play in like top six, like you said, like on that second line. I think he would fit in pretty well with like Cousins and Greg or however you want to kind of do that. So that could be a fun one, and he's got a little bit of sandpaper. He's not afraid to like get involved physically and stuff, so that could be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, Mason Marchment. I don't know if exact because I don't really. I think he was playing. I think he was on the third line for the Blue Jackets. So,
Yeah,
and again, as you said, like, yeah, I don't really know if I would exactly like. Would I want him on the team for sure? I don't know where he'd fit in because I feel like we have a log jam at middle forward, which brings up. I think we see. I think I said last episode too, but I think we don't see Zetterlund in a Sens jersey next year. Ever since that Fogel trade, I don't see fit right now for Zetterlund on this team, which I hate to say because I was a huge fan of him when we traded for him. It just, to be fair, it hasn't worked out. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes you trade for guys you think they're going to work out and they just don't. So can't really get mad at management for that. Can't get really mad at Zetterlund. It just again, it didn't work out. He did have 17 goals this year, so it's not like he was
yeah,
horrible. Just whenever he got up to whenever he played on the top line, it wasn't that good. Bottom line didn't really have a role. Now he is a really hard worker, and just like I said, he had 17 goals. So I think you'd be able to move him if you want to. I don't really think it'd be a cap dump, especially with the cap going up. I think some teams that need some scoring could take a risk at him, or I guess not a risk, but take a shot at him, and it could work out for a different team because he was scoring 20 goals, 25 goals for the Sharks. So it's not like he's a
yeah.
terrible hockey player, but yeah. Um, yeah, I like the free agents you named. I'll name a couple other trade guys. There was an article put out this week by Callum Fraser, sorry, about a Matthew Nyes trade to Ottawa, which could happen because his name has been out there a little bit. Now, personally, the name from the Sens that was out there was Yakimchuk would be the main piece in a deal for Matthew Nyes. Now, I think a lot of Sens fans, especially after seeing Yakimchuk play this year for the Sens, I feel like it'd be hard for them to trade him. But I think Nyes is the exact guy you would trade someone like Yakimchuk for. Yeah, he's a scoring guy. He's tough. He's physical. He's big. He's the exact playoff guy you want, and he fits in age-wise with the core perfectly. So I think that would be really good. But I just find it hard for the Leafs to trade him,
Yeah,
especially when
no
they want to get
chance.
younger. Exactly. I don't see them trading him, but you
Yeah,
never know. And then a couple other trade guys. Were most like the other guys I have here are kind of guys that have already been out there. Ricard Raquel, if the Pens want to get younger, which they probably do. Mason McTavish, there's been a lot of Sens fans talking about him, which personally I'm definitely going to be in the lower tier of Sens fans, but I don't really want a Mason McTavish to be honest. I don't really want to risk him with that contract, and I just don't really know where he fits on this team right now. I think he'd be a good player. I also don't really. I would want to know what we would have to give up first before
yeah,
we get if we were trade for him. And the two other guys are Jason Robertson and Jordan Kyrou. I mean, Jordan Kyrou you could take a flyer on, and Jason Robertson you'd really only trade for him if you're trading if Brady wants to get traded out of Ottawa, and it could be a team like Dallas, and Robertson needs a contract, so you could see a trade like that.
yeah. I had some names too. I'll touch on McTavish because that's one of the names that I had down. I've seen so many Ottawa fans talk about him. I think we fall in love with like the Ottawa boys a little bit too much
Yeah, which
sometimes.
is fine, but
It's
sometimes
all
it
right,
doesn't make
but we're
sense.
trying to build a hockey team, not like a family club
Yeah,
here. Like, he's been terrible for Anaheim this year. He's been a healthy scratch at times. He's been fourth line. He's making $7 million or something like that. I think it's 7 or 8
this off
over
season.
7. Um, so it's like, yeah, that would not be the one for me. He's also a center. Like we have a ton of centers. We just re-signed Halliday. And the Ducks would want like a pretty like price coming back, right? For like if you're
Yeah,
gonna trade a young
100%.
forward like that, so I just don't see it. I could see him going to like Montreal or something like that over the summer, because they need
Yeah,
like
that makes
center
sense.
depth and
They need
stuff.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't see the Sens going to McTavish. Couple of ones. My dream target would be Will Cully of the Rangers.
yeah. You love
Uh,
him.
oh yeah, he's unreal. Like big body, big power forward. 20 goals this year on a brutal Rangers team. I can't see
Yeah,
them trading him because he's so young. He's only like 24, I think, and like but they're in a weird spot, and you can always count on the Rangers to make a weird move that doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I mean, if I'm Steve Staois, I'm knocking on the door of the Rangers and saying like, what do you think of him, and seeing what they if they'd be
yeah.
willing to move him. And then maybe striking a deal. I think he would be unreal in that top six. Physical, and he's a little bit like Brady, I guess, but I think he moves better overall. So yeah, that would be my dream. Another one that's like a flyer. I guess not really a flyer, but well, he is a flyer. It's Mishkov. Uh,
Oh,
Obviously, like high upside. Like he's got the highest
definitely.
ceiling out of all of these guys that we're talking about. It's a bit of a project, but do you trust your system and your coaches to kind of get him in here and get him working him in the top six? And I mean, he's not the fastest guy, so like we always talk about Timmy needing speed. I don't know that that's definitely true. Like he's been playing with Batherson and Giroux, and
Yeah,
those guys aren't the fastest. So I think a Mishkov in Ottawa could really work out. We have Zuby too, who can like talk to him and be his friend. So you know, there's that. But yeah, I mean, if you're going for high-powered offense, that's Matvey Michkov, and so but I'm sure a lot of teams around the NHL will be checking in on him this offseason just based on his usage in the playoffs and down the stretch. Another one that's kind of off the radar is Donato from from Chicago, like 15 goals, 15 assists this year, so not as good as he was last year when he got that 4x4 extension. I know this. We talked a lot about him last season, like not this one past, but the one before, about the Sens potentially targeting Ryan Donato at the deadline, and they didn't end up doing it. But a left shot forward, we've seen him be able to play with highly skilled players, so it's just someone that maybe wouldn't cost as much, especially making $4 million, and and the Blackhawks want to kind of take a step forward, so you could see them kind of moving on from a guy like that. So yeah, that's kind of what I had for trade targets, potential trade targets.
Yeah. No, I right away I knew you were gonna name Will Cooley. I mean, you talk about him all the time. But what about your thoughts on another Ranger that has definitely been out there in trade rumors at deadline last offseason, definitely gonna be this offseason, Alexis Lafreniere. What do you think about him?
I don't know. I have mixed feelings about Lafreniere. Like, I just every time I watch the Rangers, I don't notice him. Right? Like he'll make good plays and he gets points, but I don't notice him. And for a guy who's a first overall pick and he makes whatever it is, like 7 point something million, I think, or 6 point something million, something in that range. I just you need more. You need more dynamism. Like he doesn't have that like he won't create things out of nothing, I find, for me. Like and I'm and I guess like depends what you give up for him. Like if you're not I know people talk about Lafreniere in a return for Brady. Like no chance. Like I'm hanging up the phone
I don't.
right away.
Yeah. I just
But
don't know why the Rangers would want to trade for Brady. Like Rangers need a rebuild, and like, why would you trade for Brady? Like, you're just not contending right now, unless you really just trying to contend. Because you're keeping Shesterkin, and if you have him, you can pretty much win any game. But I don't see him going to the Rangers.
yeah, but just to go back on Lafreniere, like good player. I wouldn't be mad at getting him, obviously, but it's just what's the return, right? Like that's the question always.
Yeah. Now, when I mentioned Nyes, you said it would never happen. Hypothetical, super hypothetical, because that's what people on podcasts do: hot takes and super hypotheticals.
Yep.
How would you feel about a Matthew Nyes trade, and if it were to happen, if Yakimchuk would be in it?
What's give me a package here. What are you giving
Matthew
up?
Nyes for Carter Yakimchuk. Let's put in like a second round pick and I don't really know. I'm terrible with packages. Maybe like Blake Montgomery. Would that be enough? I honestly have
I
no
don't
idea.
think so. I think the Leafs hang up at that point. I think they won't like they're not going to trade him, but I think if they were to, they would probably want a first round pick back because they're not going to have a first round pick for 2 or 3 years after this year or something like that. Because they've been trading their picks away, so I think they would want a first round pick back. They would want a high end pro like Matthew Knight is a good player. I think we're underrating Matthew Knight. Like he's
He had a
pretty
down year
much
this year, and he
close.
still had
Oh yeah,
60
for
points.
sure. But he's like close to Kachuk in terms of player. Maybe not the intangibles and all that, but just as a player, as a hockey player, like those guys are pretty close. So yeah, I think like we value
Definitely.
Kachuk super high. Toronto values Nyes like really really high. So I think it would take a lot. Probably like you're looking at Yakimchuk and a first probably.
Yeah. I feel like then I wonder if it's like maybe like a Yakimchuk a second and maybe the prospect we draft this year because we can't trade that pick away.
Yeah,
Um, I think I would need to know the package, and I think it would be even higher because it's one of the biggest rivalries in the NHL, Battle of Ontario. So it would take a lot. I would definitely be listening, and I would be think unless it's really bad, I'd probably do it. Just 'cause I feel like he just fits in perfectly, and just like you said, he's just like Brady, but it doesn't mean they have to play together. Like I think you either move Brady to the top line, or you put Nyes on the top line, and you one on the top, one on the first line, one on the second line. I think that would be amazing. I think he would fit in perfectly because he's also fast. He plays penalty kill, power play, he plays all over the ice. He literally does everything. So I think he'd be a great addition to this team.
so based on all the names we talked about for top six forwards, who would be your number one, two, and three targets?
1, 2, and 3, like mixed in, like trades and free
Yeah,
agents
anything.
combined.
Yeah,
Okay. And should we do like realistic top three?
yeah, realistic top three.
Okay, realistic top three. I'm gonna go. Uh, this is
For
tough,
me, for
honestly.
me, my
Yeah,
number
you go first.
three, my number three would be McMahon.
Yeah, I
Bobby
think
McMahon.
McMahon would be in my top three.
He'd be my number three.
He would
Number
definitely be up
two,
there.
if we're talking realism, I would go. I would go Cully at 2 because I don't know if it's super realistic, and then I would go. I'm gonna go Michkov at 1. That's my number one target.
Okay. Um, I think. Okay, I'm gonna go McMahon 2. McMahon 2. Because I think. It's so hard to pick realism. What's real and what's
Yeah, I
not
know.
with
Yeah,
trade
it's hard to
targets.
say. You could put Knives at 1. You can
Exactly.
say it.
That's what I think I'm gonna leave Knives one. I saw the report, and I heard something around the trade deadline too. And I'm not gonna say anything because it wouldn't be right of me. But I heard some things around the trade deadline that there might have been some sort of thing for Knives. Not to the Sens at all. I don't want to say that. Not to the Sens, but I think there is some possibility. The only thing is, I just don't get why the Leafs would want to trade him. But at the
Yeah,
same
me
time,
neither.
that's not my problem. So I'm gonna go Knives
Yeah.
one, McMahon two, and then I'm gonna put Raquel 3.
Okay,
I don't know
Rickard
why, but
Rakell.
I'm just gonna put him through. I feel like the Pens want to get young, and if the Sens want to go get, especially who knows what's gonna happen with Claude Giroux. Raquel brings in that veteran. He's a veteran. He has a 6 shot, so you never know. But I think that's my top 3. I wouldn't say it's great or anything, because again, it's like I said, it's hard to predict that. But
Yeah.
that's my top 3. You chose our top 3. Hopefully, one of us is right, because if one of us is right, it means we got a pretty good dang player that could play in the top 6.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, well, we'll move on to a right shot D. Now, you were the one that chose to put right shot D here. I'll start off by saying I honestly think would not, maybe not that. I'll say I would not be surprised if we did not add a right shot D that will start the season in the NHL if the whole entire team was injured. Or, sorry, if the whole entire team was healthy next year. I more think that we would add a depth left shot defenseman because it felt like whenever there was a left shot defenseman hurt this year, it was a righty playing. So we did lose Lassie Thompson, but still we have Artem Zoop, who's obviously going to be a center next year. We have Jordan Spence, who we should re-sign. We think. I mean, we both agree last season it'd be, or not last season, last episode it'd be good to re-sign him, not at a huge deal, but like a 1 or 2 year deal. And Manton Paolo, who I mean proves himself every single time he plays.
Yep.
He doesn't get that playing time. And then you also have Carter Yakimchuk, who probably wanted to take a pretty big jump this year. So that's what I'll say. Now, again, you were the one that requested right shot D, so I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, so I think so we talked a little bit about it last week. Like I'm unsure of the fit for everyone. Like I don't think Spence and Shabbat can play together. I don't think the Sens are comfortable playing Matt and Paolo is in a top 4 like 20-25 minutes a night in night out. I think they like him as like a 6 or a 7. I don't think they like him as a 4. So I'm looking at that like right D2 spot in theory. It could be right D1, however you want, but I think Zub and Sanderson are pretty safe bet to stay together again next year, right? I would think. So, and I'm looking at adding size. I talked about that last week
Yeah.
too. We need to add size on the back end. Now, we talked about internal, and I had written that down. I wrote down Crotty, Yak, and Matt and Paolo as internal options. Guys that could take a step forward. Crotty's still only 27 years old, barely played NHL games. I don't think he's there. I think he could be like a solid 7, 8, but I don't think he's going to take that much of a leap. But you never know. He was pretty solid in limited minutes in the playoffs and in the regular season this year. Then Yak is the big wild card. Like if Yak takes a step forward to being a top 4 defenseman in the NHL, that's huge. But I think if he's not a top 4, he's not in the NHL. I think he's in the AHL. I don't think they start him on the third pair or as an extra. That would just not be good for his development. He's just going to play again in the AHL in the top pair unless he makes the team as a top 4 defenseman. And then Matt and Paolo, like I said, I think they're comfortable having him as a 6-7, but just not in the top 4. So, with that said, I have a few options. I started by going free agent. There wasn't much, obviously. I think we all know that. You got Darren Radish and you got Brent Burns, John Carlson are a few names, but older guys that are on the back nine that are not coming to Ottawa, and then Darren Radish is going to get a stupid contract this offseason, and I don't want the Sens to touch that.
Definitely not.
So I instead sorted by 6'3" or taller, right shot Ds, and I came up with this.
One second. Before you list off names, I need to hear. Okay, so we'll start with Zub. Zub's the center next year, right? Is Zub going to start the year as a center next year?
Well, I hope he doesn't start as a center, but he'll start as a right shot D.
Senator.
Oh, senator. Oh, yeah.
Right, senator.
Yes, okay, I just said that. I think everyone will be back. I just don't like the fit of Spence and Shabbat, so I'm looking for a partner for Shabbat.
Okay, so you think Manton Powell starts next year as a 7th D, just like he did last year?
In theory, yeah.
Okay, continue.
Thank you. So my first one was Adam Peake from Boston. Okay, 28
Andrew?
years old. Or Andrew, sorry.
Peake?
Yeah, Andrew Peake. 28 years old, 6'3", 214. Not a points guy, like straight defensive defenseman. But in our system, we don't need points guys.
Yeah, we don't need no points guy.
Okay, yeah, that's what you said. Yeah, we just need a steady guy that can just be a good partner for Shabbat and replace Jensen. So I think he could be a good option. He adds some size. He can move the puck well enough out of his zone. He can block shots. Like that's what you're looking for here. A guy who can kill penalties. Peak would be a pretty solid one. So that was a free agent, and then after that, I was looking at Rangers, Vincent Iorio, 23 years old, 6'3", 201. So a little bit on the younger side. Like you never know. Again, I talk about the Rangers all the time. They make bad decisions. This is a guy that I could see them part ways with. So a guy you could target. You could probably move them like a young forward that we don't need or something like that. And then, yeah, I think he'd be solid. There's a lot of room to grow. He's big, rangy, again, kills penalties. Like, he didn't play 82 games this year for New York, so there's still, like, some room there that, they're not sure what they have, so they may not want to move off that. But, again, another good one there. And now here's one you're going to think, this is, like, it's not on the nice level of, like, unrealistic, but, like, I just don't think they would trade him. But Kesselring from Buffalo.
I honestly don't think that's that hot of a take. Like he was,
okay, yeah.
I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong. Let me check Daily Faceoff quickly before I say a single word, because I'd rather be right than.
Yeah, because he hasn't played
exactly
a lot in the playoffs, and he was scratched a ton during the season. Now they do have Stanley and Shen, who are guys who are probably going to not return or whatever. I think they might have a couple more years left on their contract, but.
As of right now, Shen's not playing. Connor Timmins is playing over Kesselring right now. Now, my only idea is Owen Power. I wonder, like, he hasn't really... Buffalo's had a great year. Owen Power hasn't done that much. He hasn't lived up to the number 1 pick. So I wonder if a change of scenery would be good for him. So
but he's a left shot.
Owen Power is playing... Oh, Kesselring's left shot.
No, Kesselring's a right shot. Owen Power is left, no?
Well, he's playing right now. On Daily Faceoff, he's on the right side. So.
Okay, I thought he was a left shot D, but I think Owen Power would be a Shabbat replacement rather than.
No, I'm not saying Owen Power as a trade for Ottawa. I'm just saying maybe Buffalo gets rid of an Owen Power and then Kesselring gets a spot. But as of right now, that's not happening, and I'm not going to predict stuff for the Sabres.
Yeah.
But I honestly I think Nyes is definitely more of a long shot than Kesselring.
Yeah, so, like, my thing on Kesselring, like, same thing, 6'4", 216, like, he was really, really solid for Utah, and then he goes to Buffalo and just doesn't really play, doesn't crack the lineup. They have a lot of good Ds, which makes sense, but it's someone they could move on. We have a good relationship. Well, we did, I guess. We don't have, it's not Kevin Adams anymore, but Kekalainen, former senator, so you never know, he might want to do us a favor, so... Yeah, that would be a target for me, 100%. And then, I think I had Devils written down, question mark, because they have like 4 or 5 NHL right shot Ds. right? They're gonna move off one or two of them, right? They got Hamilton, Pesci, Kovacevic, Nemec, and Casey in the AHL, and they're
Yeah.
gonna move off one of those guys. Now, who's that gonna be? Probably Nemec, if I was a betting man, because they're gonna want to upgrade their roster. I don't think we're gonna go after Nemec. We don't have the we're not
Yeah, I don't really.
trading. Like Nemec again is a guy who's part of a Kachuk package, so I don't think that'll
Yeah, and
happen,
I don't
right?
really want to. I don't really want
Yeah,
Nemec to be honest with you.
yeah, me neither,
I
not
only want. I would only
necessarily.
want Nemec if we were getting rid of Shabbat. But Shabbat's like Shabbat's heart and soul. Ottawa Senators. He bleeds black,
Yeah,
black and gold. Like I don't really want to trade him.
I don't think we're trading him. I don't even think that's a
Me
conversation.
neither.
But the one that I was looking at for the Devils would be Kovacevic if they wanted to move him. I think he
Yeah.
again something that would fit our team really well. So yeah, like just some names that I like. Again, I don't think it's. I think I said that last week. I don't think it's top of the grocery list for the Sens like this offseason. Right shot D, like it's not. It's probably a priority 3 or 4, but there's always room for improvement. And like I said, I just don't like the Shabbat Spence pairing together. And so anything we can do to change that and add some size on the back end is gonna be good for us.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just gonna say this too. Like I know I was on your ass earlier about adding a right shot D. I would love to because again I think I do love Zub, Spence, and Timpalo, but I think Zub's time is coming to an end. I also don't get me wrong. I love Zub, but is he a top right shot defenseman on a Stanley Cup winning team? Probably not. Now he's only there because of Jake Sanderson. Again, you never know. Spence, I like him, but again, if I want to re-sign him, I'm probably looking at a 1-2 year deal at like 2-3 million. So then, if he's only making that, he can probably play on that third pair with Clevin and Manton Paolo. I mean, I'd be fine trading him. I feel like he has decent value. He's played pretty good steady role back there. I think I wouldn't say you get a good package back, but you could put him in a trade for something else on your team, or even Jordan Spence. Maybe
I
you
think Spence.
want
Yeah,
to
I
get
was gonna
bigger.
say.
Yeah, you could trade Spence if you want to get bigger on the decor. You could trade Spence, and a different team can give him the 7x7. You never know. 'Cause if you look at a team like Edmonton, I was actually talking to someone the other day about this. Jake Wallman kind of flipping team to team, and then he comes to Edmonton. He's looking good, and then he gets that 7x7, boom, right away. How
Yeah.
can he play Jordan Spence? And if you look at Jake Wallman, he didn't have the year he probably wanted to have this year. And I don't really think I would want to give Jake, especially if you're the Edmonton Oilers who need all the money you can get. You have Connor McDavid taking less just so you can spend more money than you're going to give Jake Wallman $7 million. So I don't really want the Sens to do that with Jordan Spence. So could you see
Yeah,
a
agree.
scenario where you trade Spence and try to get bigger, like you said, 100%, and
Yeah.
I'd be fine with that. Um, Again, I still think, as I said, I'd be surprised. Or no, I'm sorry, I would not be surprised if they didn't change to the right shot D. I think there's a better chance they go and get a depth left shot D than a top four right shot D, and a couple names that I've just been looking around at. Like there's a Jeremy Lozone. I think he'd be more than what you want a depth left shot to be. But there's Eric Gustafson, who isn't really getting a lot of playing time for Detroit. There's Matt Grzelcyk. Maybe Ian Cole is getting up there in age. I don't know if a team wants to give him that much money anymore. But there's guys out there. I mean, it's a depth left shot D.
Yeah.
It's not going to be someone you're like super happy to get, but in the long run, you might help your team a lot. Like we saw this year, they used so many defensemen, so it might help out.
Yeah.
Next is depth fourth line. I have a couple names written down for this. I would say I think on the fourth line, I would love for Stephen Holiday, especially with the contract we saw him just get, which we haven't even talked about that yet. I personally think that's a really good contract for him. And if he just keeps playing the way he is, maybe a little bit more offense, then he'll probably get paid in the long run, or he'll just be a really good trade chip for a guy that we want to get if it's next year's deadline or a deadline after. But a couple names I've written down for a depth forward are right here. Claude Giroux, I put that there just because he's not technically signed yet, and I feel like if we were to sign him, it'd be in a depth forward role. Corey Perry, you can go out there. Maybe you see a world where Claude Giroux decides to retire, which I honestly don't think is going to happen, but you never know. And then I have Kevin Stenlund. He was a fourth line center for Utah. Just complete mammoth of a guy. He's huge.
Yep.
Ryan Lomberg is a UFA. He's a dirty. He's kind of like a Nick Cousins. If you don't want
Yeah.
Nick Cousins back, you go get a Lomberg. Nicholas Deslauriers. He's not really getting a lot of playing time on the Carolina Hurricanes, who are 7-0 in the playoffs right now.
Yeah.
So if he's not really getting playing time for the Hurricanes, might not be the smartest here. And I put Kasperi Kapanen, but I think we might get a decent paid job. And these next two guys are, I would be, I don't get excited for depth forwards, but I think these guys would be pretty cool. Beck Mallenstein of the
Yeah.
Buffalo Sabres, just complete unit, and he's also like really fast. I think it'd be
Yeah.
sick if we got him. And then I also put AJ Greer there.
Yeah.
Very dirty guy, but I think you kind of want that in your fourth
Yep.
line. Might get suspended 1 or 2 times a year. Might give the opposing team a 5-minute power play 1 or 2 times a year. But he's also from Ottawa. I know he trains here in the offseason too, so I know he would be open to coming here. And I think it'd be pretty cool to have him on our fourth line if we get rid of some of the other guys that we have.
Yeah, I think I have some. I went down a similar route. I just went straight like mutants. That's what I'm looking for on
Yeah.
the fourth line. And I had AJ Greer. I think he might get, because people know about him, like he might get a little bit more than you want to give a fourth liner. Because you're probably looking
Yeah,
at like
fair.
1 to 2 million per guy on the fourth line to have a competitive team. So we
He
already
also
have
is
Holiday, let's
37
say.
though. Like
Yeah,
Adrier's 37, so you never know. But yeah.
yeah, so who knows? Some other names. I had Stenlin on there. So yeah, again, like a mutant penalty killer. AJ Gear's 29, by the way. I knew he wasn't 37.
Wow, I
There's
just
no
searched up
way.
his age.
Yeah, no,
Oh, he is
29.
29. Okay, I
Yeah.
searched up the wrong guy's name.
Stenlin, like just again, mutant. He's unreal in the face-off circle. Good penalty killer. So like that would be huge. And then some underrated names that like aren't really known. Pavel Regenda off of
Oh yeah, the Sharks.
Sharks, 9 goals this year. He's 6'4", just a mutant again, who can kind of he has a little bit of scoring touch. Could play on the power play or something. Depends. We also have Fogel. We can't forget about that. He is back.
Yeah, but I think
Um,
he's gonna get like a third line role this year. I think you said that last episode too.
yeah, but we still have him. And then I have Nolan Foote from Florida, 25 years old, 6'5", I think, or 6'4". Again, just like a mutant, former first round pick. So you never know. Could have some upside there, but just another guy. Like you just need to teach him how to play on a fourth line on a bottom six role, and he could be really effective. And then my last one is Nathan Bastian from Dallas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, another guy, 28 years old, just an absolute mutant too. I think he's like 6'5". Also, again, like a guy who was a skill guy when he got drafted, but if you show him how to kind of play in a bottom six, and yeah, these are the kind of guys you build your fourth line on and can dominate in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think honestly, like a depth fourth line's like a pretty honestly. I remember when we signed Nick Cousins, I was like stoked.
Yeah,
He's not a guy that you're gonna like. You're not gonna get a Nick Cousins jersey. Now, maybe someone out there does have a Nick Cousins jersey, but you're not gonna go around an arena. You're not gonna see a Nick Cousins jersey every single day you're at this ATC. But I'm excited. Like I got excited for that. I feel like there's a lot of
yeah,
fourth line guys that just go out there and just lay the body. They do some stupid stuff, and it just gets the team going. It gets the crowd going, and it's players. As much as we've seen, we're kind of talking from like a fun standpoint. It's also guys where when you're playing hockey right now, mid-May, and the other team has the puck in their own zone, especially when you're the Sens and you forecheck so hard. If you're the other team and you're a defenseman trying to clear the puck out, you don't want to see a Beck Mallenstein, AJ Greer, a Pavel Reganda. You don't want to see these guys coming after you. And that our
yeah.
fourth line right now doesn't really have that.
No,
I still think it's a good fourth line. I liked Lars Eller. I liked Fogle. I didn't really like Zetterlund, but again, as we said, I don't think he's on the Sens next year. But again, you never know. We'll see.
yeah. Like I'm just gonna add to finish off on
Yeah,
the
you're
fourth
good. You're
line.
good.
Like Carolina in that series, we saw that when we dragged them through the mud and brought them into the shit and did all that walking the line and hitting hard and all this is when we started having success against them. But we didn't do it until the last game, really,
Yeah.
like actually, and getting in the scrums and all this stuff. And then they had to send out their Bully Delorier who can't even play hockey, right? Like, no,
Exactly.
these guys that I'm looking at can play hockey, and they're just mutants that can do that over and over and over,
Yeah.
shift in, shift out in the playoffs, and that's what you need.
Yeah, you need guys like Curtis McDermott, but then they can also play hockey at the same time.
Yeah,
I
absolutely. And
remember
look at
earlier on the
Buffalo; they have
season.
that.
Exactly. I remember earlier on the season too when do you remember the Curtis McDermott stat? Whenever he was in the lineup, the Sens were like 6-2 or something like that, which obviously has nothing to do with Curtis McDermott. It was just funny. But I mean, actually, I shouldn't say it has nothing to do with him because maybe it does. Maybe the team plays a little bit more open. They know they can be a little bit more physical. So if you can get a
For
guy like
sure.
him that can actually play 60 to 80 games on the fourth line and play quality hockey, then it's going to help the team out 100%.
You brought up a great point there. You need to make your top players comfortable to do whatever they want to do out there, right? You think that if we had an AJ Greer or a Stenlin or one of these guys, and Hall takes that run after Sanderson, you don't think that one of those guys is
Exactly.
jumping over the boards and killing that guy? Yeah, that's what we need. That's what we've been missing, and these are the kind of guys that we need to be targeting.
Yeah. Yeah, I want a guy that's like not. Now this might sound really bad, and I don't really. Again, I don't want NHL players to get hurt. I don't want to see injuries. But you want a guy on your team who's not scared of getting suspended. You want a guy that's just going to go out there and do whatever they can for their team.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get someone like that because we just don't have that on the fourth line right now. It'd also be good to get some like good big veterans to play alongside Stephen Holiday because I think he can really help the team on that fourth line. I just like the way he holds the puck and could get some PP2 time. And then also
Yeah.
if a center gets hurt, I would not be scared with him going up in the lineup, even playing third line center. Or you never know, he could get traded this offseason too. So see what happens with that. And then the final one, which is probably the second biggest one, or for some people could be the biggest one, because some people like to argue that if we had this the whole entire year, we're in a way better position going into the playoffs, which I'm not saying you're wrong. It could definitely be a thing, but depth goalie. I have a couple names written down, but before I list them off, um, what big points do you have about the Sens adding a depth goalie?
Yeah, I think we talked about it last week too. Um, like, I don't think Olmark's the kind of guy that can play 60 plus games in the regular season and be good or be healthy, right? We see that he's never proven that he can. So we need a guy who can play upwards of 30 games this year of good goaltending, like good solid goaltending. And I think we've seen many teams get guys out of nowhere that just become unreal and become starting goalies in like a 1A 1B situation.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we need to target for next year.
Yeah, I agree. So I guess I'll start off by listing some of my guys I have here.
Yeah.
So the first one, I think some people might be like, why would this team trade this guy? But like, I'll just say it. Alex Lyon, like especially since he's starting playoff games right now for the Sabres, you'd be surprised if they traded him. But then if you think about it, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen is probably their goalie that they want for the rest. Like that's their franchise goaltender. They want him to be that guy. And they also have Colton Ellis, who is playing a lot of games from this year. A lot of this year, they had three goalies on the NHL roster. And you don't see that very often. So you could see a guy like Alex Lyon get traded. I think you'd have pretty good value on him. And honestly, I wouldn't be scared. I shouldn't say scared, sorry. I would not be opposed to giving a decent package to get him because, especially with Allmark, he got injured last year, missed some time this year. So you don't know what's going to happen to him. If you just look at his track record, you can probably predict he's probably going to miss a good amount of games. And he's also just not a goaltender to go out there and play 60 games like a Hellebuck or like a Vasilevsky or like a Sorokin. So I'd be fine getting him. Now, I don't know exactly if they're going to trade him, but again, just going out there, just a name. A couple other names I have here are all just free agent goaltenders. Peter Mrazek could be a guy you go out there and get as a depth goalie. I have Ivan Fedotov from Philadelphia, Cam Talbot, Connor Ingram, Calvin Pickard, and Matt Murray. All the guys that the only guy there that really kind of makes your eyes wide is probably Alex Lyon. The other guys don't, but that's the role of a backup goaltender. You kind of just want to have a 500 winning percentage all year. If you win half your games, that's honestly a really good record for a backup goaltender.
Yeah, I think for me, like I had a couple names from unrestricted free agent. Was like Skinner, like Stuart Skinner.
Yeah,
Um,
I feel like he might be a bit pricey.
Maybe, but he would be a true like 1A 1B situation.
Yeah, true.
Um, David Riddick, did you mention him? Yeah.
No, I didn't.
No,
I
yeah.
did see him though when I was looking, but yeah, I didn't have
Like
him down.
894 save percentage, 276 goals against in
Yeah,
30 games. Like that's solid. Like
that's
he could give
fine.
us.
Yeah,
And then Devin Cooley from Calgary. He had
he had a really
909.
good year though, right?
Yeah, 909 save percentage,
Yeah,
269. But they have Wolf. Like they're not going to give another
yeah.
goalie a ton of money.
Is
He
is he an RFA or UFA?
I thought I saw UFA. That's what I wrote down. I may be
I will
wrong
pull
on
it up
that.
right here.
But he played 31 games. He was really good. Like that's probably. I mean, we're saying this. The Sens are probably already looking at him. Like it's not rocket science. Like he's one of the. He was one of the best, let's say, backup goalies this year. So I think that should be like number one for me.
Cooley?
Yeah.
Yeah, I 2 year. Okay, he has no, yeah, he has a contract through 27-28. So
Okay, so he got
sorry to
extended.
sorry
Well, it
to
could be a trade piece though. You never know for a
it
team like
could, but I
Calgary.
mean,
Like, why do they need two goalies right now? They're not ready to compete. They don't need two good
no,
goalies,
you're not wrong. But at
right?
the same
So,
time, like, if you're gonna extend him, then you never know. Yeah, it's kind of like Alex Line. I think there's a better chance Alex Line gets traded than Devin Cooley. But yeah, you never know. I think out of the actually out of the guys that could happen, like a Mrazek, Fedotov, Talbot, Ingram, Pickard, Murray, I think Connor Ingram would be good because he looked really good at times for the Oilers this year, and that's a team that just cannot defend. Like
yeah.
the Oilers, I mean, we could talk about them for like 10 hours and all their mistakes, but whatever. Ivan Fedotov, I'm pretty sure he's like huge, but big goalies aren't really the thing in the NHL right now. So I think my two guys that I named that I think I would like as backup goaltenders would be a Cam Talbot or a Connor Ingram. I
Okay.
think those would be my go-to two guys right now.
So, a couple other names for you, like trade targets. Akira Schmid of Vegas. He's still
Hmm.
young, like still untapped. I think we saw him like be
Yeah,
pretty solid in the Olympics.
that's a really good
Um,
one because now they have Hart, and Hart's doing really good
yeah,
for them right now, and they have Aiden Hill.
yeah, they have two goalies already. He wasn't great this year. Like he posted an 893, 259 goals against in 34 games. So like it's
That's also a
decent.
team that struggled this year.
Yeah, it's a league average probably like stat line, but young like 25, so he's still got room to grow. And in a
Yeah,
good system like us, like he could be really good because he has a lot of good tools. And then
yeah,
the other ones, I don't think they'll trade him because they're kind of starting to take this step forward. But Nedeljkovic from San
yeah,
Jose, 40 games, 896, 287. So a couple guys there
yeah.
that I think would be good targets.
And there's one other Sharks goalie too, a Laurent Brossoit, who they had this year that they
Yeah,
traded for. I'm pretty sure he's a UFA, and he was really good for the Jets in 23-24. I'm pretty sure. Then he had a really bad injury and just played for the first time in over like a year and a half this year,
yeah,
and he wasn't good. But again, I think the biggest thing with the backup goaltender is I think it's gonna be a guy where the Sens gonna have to do a lot of scouting on, and they're gonna have to find their guy that they think they can turn into a really good backup goaltender, and a guy that can kind of split roles, like you said, a 1A 1B goaltender. And I also really like the Kira Schmidt pull that you had. I think that one makes a lot of sense. Just teams that have three NHL ready goaltenders, you don't really see them carry them. Now you could also see a world where the Knights trade Aiden Hill because he had a horrible year, and maybe even it would be good for Aiden Hill to have a change of scenery. But you never know. I do like that Akira Schmidt guy that you mentioned though.
yeah. They need a goalie though. I think that's the bottom line. They need to get a goalie.
They need someone that if he's in the net, you have a chance to win that game.
Yeah.
Like near the end of the year. Now I will say James Reimer, whenever he was starting, I think I was very confident for him. But I wouldn't go out there and get him again. I think I want someone I'm a little bit more confident than James Reimer again, though he did a great job. The guy where if Allmark has to leave for like leave of absence again, or if he gets injured, I want a guy that I'm going to be confident in that if he has to start kind of 10 games in a row, and he can win like 5 or 6 of them. Like I think you need a guy that you can be confident in every single night of the year.
Yeah, 100%. 1A and then like a 30-40 game guy. That's what we need.
Yeah. Well, Sens might add guys for different needs, but those were the four biggest needs we thought of. If you were to rank the four needs that we were talking about today in order, just to end off kind of this segment, what would you say?
So I think we talked about it last week. Number one for me is goalie. Getting another goalie. Number two would be forward, like scoring, adding some scoring in the top six. Number three would be fourth line. And then number four would be right shot D.
Okay. I'm going to be honest. I heavily disagree with you on the defensive one, just because I feel like that was the whole entire reason we kind of got swept in the first round. But hey,
I
your
think it's
opinion's your
close.
opinion.
Like,
I just think there's so many guys you can put into like a fourth line that like
yeah,
it
fair.
especially when games get tight, like that line's going to play 5 6 minutes a night anyways, compared to a defenseman who's going to play 10 to 12 even if they're not playing a lot.
But our six Ds, like, if we have our six, let's say we just keep these six, where I'm not counting Yakimchuk, the six NHL Ds that we had, we're still pretty solid. Right?
Yeah.
So I think, yes, we can upgrade there, but I don't think it's a necessity. I think building up that fourth line with more physicality is a necessity.
Okay, fair enough. I'll say my rankings are I kind of just have the same as you, just 1 and 2 is flipped and 3 and 4 is flipped. I think the number one is like a scoring forward, then depth goalie, then defenseman, then uh, bottom four depth forward. So I would say. And we'd love to hear your guys' opinions too. If anyone wants to leave a comment, and we can reply back to you with what you think, and hopefully get a couple opinions down there. And just to end off the episode, we'll touch on what else has happened in Ottawa the past couple of days. Start with we'll just continue with hockey. I guess the Ottawa Charge. I mean, pretty cool what they're doing. Start the series on the road, lose a tough game one where they were up 1-0, and then Boston comes back, but then they win game two, and then everyone always knows, especially in a shorter series, if you can take one of the first two games on the road, you're sitting in a pretty good spot. And looking at that now, that's exactly what it is, because they're up 2-1 now. They won last night at home 2-1, and I don't know if you saw did you see their game-winning goal last night?
Yeah,
It
that's
was
insane.
hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
That is just like such a playoff goal. I was telling my buddy, I'm like, I wish the Sens could get some luck like this. Like
Oh,
for
yeah.
the Sens, imagine if the Sens scored a goal at the CTC with 30 seconds left to take the lead. Like, that is something I need. And I wish I was at the Charge game last night because it would have been sick. But I was actually at the
Yeah.
Titans game, which we'll get to. Yeah, up 2-1. Game 4 is tomorrow, 3 o'clock at the CTC again, and then if it goes to a game 5, we'll go back to Boston. But I think we gotta like what we're seeing from another fellow Ottawa hockey team right now.
No, yeah, it's great and I love that they're getting like a good turnout at the CTC.
Yeah,
Like
13,000.
30,000. I think like for me, like I don't know what would you prefer, like a sold out TD place or like a 3/4 full CTC?
Well, honestly, I just rant for a second right now. I don't even care. I'm just gonna rant. How do you give 5 game series a 5 day break? How can game 2 to game 3 be a huge break, and then you put the game on a day where Titans have made it known that they have a sold out stadium?
Yeah.
And also, I would think a lot of the fans that go to Titans games are also going to Charge games. Honestly, the Charge get 13,000. Kudos to them. That's really good. They could have got, I think, easily an easy 15,000. They could have got if the Titans, like if that game was
Yeah,
even Thursday.
probably.
If the Charge game was Thursday, they could have got an easy 15,000. I don't now. Again, there's probably a lot of stuff behind the scenes that the normal fan like me doesn't know. CTC might have been booked, or who knows, traveling ish. Again, who knows what happens, but I'd much rather give it even an extra day break, make it a 6 day break, and just play the Charge game on the Saturday. Again, who knows? This might be going on, but I
Yeah,
think I would
no.
much rather be at definitely more of a baseball guy. So I think I would choose the Titans. Like I was at that game last night. It was sick. Like just whenever they would call it the players cheering for that when they scored the first run. Luckily, the Titans scored first, something the Sens didn't do in any game. Crowd was hype right away. They did blow two leads, then lose it in extras. But I think I would choose this RCGT just because kind of the history around it. But a sold out CTC for the Charge would be pretty sick too. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that? Like, would you rather see RCGT or
Well, I meant more
CTC?
like, would you rather watch the Charge at a sold out like TD Place where it's packed, or like at CTC where it's not packed? It's like three quarters or half full or whatever, right? Like there's a difference in atmosphere. I don't know. I wasn't there. It sounded like there was a good crowd pop, but I know that when the TD Place is packed, like it's bouncing in there. You know?
Oh, I okay. I see what you mean. Um, like CTC again. Like as I was just saying, we don't really know how many. Like the CTC hypothetically could have been sold out if the
Yeah.
game was on a Thursday or Wednesday. Like, we don't know that. Even if it was 15 or 16,000, like that's two extra thousand people going there, going out of their way to go there. You probably think they want to be loud. So I think I'd choose the CTC. As much as the atmosphere might be better at TD Place, I think the more people there seeing it, the better grow the game. That's the whole entire thing with the
Yeah.
PWHL is it's been this is its third year, and you want to grow it. You want as many
Yeah.
people there as possible. As much as some people want to gone from the TD Place because they're probably a little bit closer, you want to grow the game. You want as many people to see it as possible. I think my opinion would be the CTC.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would say TD Place is closer to me, but I mean, I haven't gone to
That's
watch
just
them at TD
bias.
Place either, so I can't really say. I can't really comment. I just wanted to
Yeah.
touch on a little bit on the NHL playoffs too, unless you had anything else
Yeah.
to talk about on the.
Well, generally, I'm just gonna talk a little bit more with the Titans to mention that. I was at the game yesterday. As a lot of people probably know, sold out. Highest attendance game in Frontier League history. Pretty sick atmosphere. A lot of people. It did get a little bit cold. You definitely saw more people leave as the night went on, but it was sick. There was a jersey giveaway. People were lining up 3, 4, 5 hours
Yeah,
before
that
the
was
game for
crazy.
a replica Titans jersey. That was sick. Um, there was also they had to put an extra kind of fence around the arena, and they had food trucks and stuff in it just for kind of more standing room before the game because they knew a lot of people would be coming early. The hop yard was packed. It was sick, man. I was excited to go back there. I played a couple games there, like myself, and obviously has not been close to 10,000 people, but just to see that place packed like that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I've never actually been to a Titans game, so
It was
it's
definitely
definitely
worth it.
yeah, it's definitely on my list for this summer. And yeah, I just wanted to touch a little bit on the NHL playoffs. I've been watching like a ton of the hockey over the week and stuff, like trying to catch as much of the games as I can. Montreal series was pretty good. Like first game, I was
That's gonna
loving
be
it.
insane.
Yeah, I was loving it. Like that Montreal were losing, and then of course they come back last night and just hammer Buffalo. So
Yeah,
it's
it's
gonna
gonna
be
be
a
a
great
series.
series. Yeah, it's gonna be
Yep.
lots of fun, and it's feisty too. Like I like, and it's pretty open, which is
Yeah, it
something like we're
is.
not used to as Sens fans.
Lots of
we don't
speed.
play. Yeah, we don't play that type of hockey, so
Yeah.
we don't get those kind of games. But how about the Flyers though? How do they feel right now?
They feel just like us, if not a little bit better, because they actually got a lead on the Hurricanes, a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, I was
Actually, I
like,
mean,
the
to be
only
fair, they
difference
might
is
feel,
that
yeah. To be fair, they might even feel worse because we didn't blow. To be fair, we never blew a lead in the series like the Flyers did.
they blew a lead
Again,
and they
yeah,
got
2 goal lead.
hammered in the last game.
Yeah,
So we didn't do that.
it's gonna be
So
tough. Canes look good, but to be
yeah,
fair, I don't really think the Flyers are the biggest opponent. Kudos to the Flyers
yeah,
for being in the second round. But yeah, I think Carolina will take care of them. It's going to be an interesting series because if Carolina Game 6 is actually tonight, we're recording
yeah,
this on Saturday, so the series might be over tonight, and the Canes might have up to 2 weeks off
yeah.
if
That's crazy.
Sabres Habs goes 7, which is going to be insane. But
Yeah,
yeah, that series has been sick. Again, Flyers Hurricanes. I mean, not really much to talk about in that. Again, it's just really Canes are just playing really good hockey.
yeah,
Wild Avalanche. I mean, that series is. I'm gonna be honest. I thought that series would be fun, but Avalanche are kind of just putting belt ass right now. So
Yeah, I mean, game one was just ridiculous. Like,
game one was sick. I can't lie.
yeah, that was just
Just
ridiculous. And then, were you like surprised that they changed the goalie? Like Minnesota, how they changed Gus for
yeah.
Wallstedt? Were you surprised?
I'd say no. I yes and no at the same time. Like Wallstead was really good in the other series, but they were kind of 1A, 1B all year. If
Yep.
anything, Gus was almost their 1A most of the year. If you remember the trade deadline, there were some
Yep.
Wallstead rumors. So I wouldn't say I was surprised, but at the same time, I'd say I was 50-50. I think I wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised either way. Is what I'm trying to say. And Wallstead's actually starting again. They're going back to Wallstead
Yeah, I'm
tonight.
not
So
surprised.
yeah, the Gus didn't last too long. But my biggest takeaway from the second round so far is Mitch Marner. Not
Dude,
only not good, but the better he plays, the more Leafs fans get pissed off, and that just makes me smile even more. It is what he's doing is just in. I would say too, he's playing that physical of a team, young, fast, so more space for him. And Utah again, young, fast, a little bit more space, so it kind of works out his favor. But still, like he had hat trick last night, 6 goals, I think 7 assists. I think he's like 13 points now. He's over a point per game in the playoffs, just doing outstanding stuff for the night. So kudos to him. And I honestly thought the Ducks were going to win that series. Actually, I might have picked the Knights after game two. I thought Ducks were going to win it, and now it's. I mean, you go out there and you just play such a good game on the road against the Ducks, who are undefeated at home right now.
yeah.
I mean, that's going to be a series now too. Hopefully, the Ducks can tie it up, and we get a long series there as well.
Yeah, I think we talked about a little bit like Vegas's like veteran experience and just that all that would come into play a lot. And then yeah, like you said, I love just rubbing it in the Leafs like fans wound like just oh yeah, it was always Marner's fault, that you couldn't get past the first round or second round or whatever.
Exactly.
It's like yeah, clearly it wasn't his fault. So, nah, yeah,
Exactly.
it's great and yeah, we've been treated to some really good hockey and hopefully that continues tonight.
Yeah. The only thing, my one complaint with the playoffs right now is that we're just getting into a little too many one game per day things.
Yeah.
You kind of get a little bit like I don't know what the word is exactly. I can't think of it right now, but you get it's either 4 games a day or 3 games a day at the start of round one. Then round two, we're still not even to games. Well, we've had one game three, sorry, but most of them are still games one and two, or games two and three, and we're already at 1 game a night. I mean, I'll take the hockey, but it just means we're getting closer and closer and closer to no hockey at night. So
Yeah.
it's whatever. But like a night like tonight, which I'm actually busy, so I can't really watch either game, which sucks. But 2 games a night is um, really fun to watch because you go from one game right to the other game, especially with the NBA too. NBA is honestly, I know we're all hockey podcasts. I don't know how much you've watched the NBA, but the NBA actually is pretty good too. I've liked watching that a little bit. But yeah, I'm excited to watch the end of these series. I think Colorado, if I had to say now, I think Colorado, Minnesota is probably done. I'd say Carolina is 100% done, but Sabres, Habs, Knights, and Ducks looks like 2 series that are going to go 6 or 7 games, and I'm excited to watch those ones.
Yeah, same for me. I'm just cheering against Montreal and hopefully they lose.
Agreed. If we can have like ideal scenario would be like Sabres, Canes, Eastern Conference Championship, then like Colorado, Ducks, but at the same time, I think Colorado Knights would be pretty good just because veteran team, 2 veteran teams. I think I'd be fine Ducks or Knights. I think Ducks would put up a better fight, so maybe I'll go for Knights, and that also means that Mitch Marner goes farther in the playoffs and pisses more Leafs fans off, so that's good. But yeah, I'm excited to watch the end of hockey. Anything else you want to say before we end off episode 5?
Nope, good.
Perfect. Well, hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good rest of your week, and we'll catch you next weekend.